Hey YouTube, CBO Rider 615 here, and I thought I'd just post another video. Weather's starting to get warm, so it should be in the next couple weeks that I'll be out and about. But I just wanted to do a little video on pretty much safety and I drive commercial vehicles on a daily basis, so there's several things that I've learned to do that actually help with motorcycle riding. So I'm going to go ahead and upload a couple videos in this video itself. They're going to be separate sections, and after you view these, maybe they'll help you get a general idea of helpful tips of how to be noticed and just how to be safe overall. So just stay tuned, and we'll get the next video rolling. Alright, so the first section that we're going to do is basically visibility. Some bikes are pretty bad with their integrated systems. I know right now for my turn signals I've got single LEDs on the back and they just don't cut it. So recommendation that I'm actually doing to my own bike, and I haven't really seen this done very often, is an integrated taillight system, which you see every day, the half yellow while brake lights are on, and of course use a resistor or a relay to slow down the blinker rate so it's noticeable. But I also want to put a strip of LEDs along the back fairing to also light up the back and partially the side. So if people are to the side of me, they can see my bike, and it'll be a strip of 8 or 10 LEDs that'll flash, and change the pattern so they just make a line, or they all flash at once, or they randomize, based on the circuit. So I've been kind of throwing that under the, in the idea wheel and seeing if that would work. So I mean that's one thing for visibility. Also, I know that they have these things that you put on your helmet that when wind hits them, it lights up a part of your helmet, and it's just like a single red light, and it kind of looks like a brake light, but it's supposed to draw attention to people that are behind you, and you can face them either way, so they get forward or rear facing lights. Another thing with lighting at night, I've heard people say don't use your high beams because it blinds people. I always ride with my high beam at night. Number one, it makes it so I can see a whole lot more, and it makes people see me a lot easier. So that's, use your own judgment on that. If you don't want to use your headlight, your high beam, don't use it. It's all a comfort deal, Personally, a lot of those HID headlights in cars even are brighter than my bright, because I've just got the standard stock bulb light, so I don't have like those high intensity lights. So a lot of those cars have brighter lights than what I've got, so it's it's not too bad. So with that, I'm going to go into the next section, and this is just a 3-part section, and if you like this, just comment and subscribe, and I'll keep on doing these. Okay, so the second part of the section is basically being aware of your surroundings. Like I said, it's getting warmer, but the main thing is to be prepared for weather. If it's a chance of rain, of course some people don't like to ride in the rain because it's just really bad conditions to ride in. Rain does hurt if you don't wear a jacket, so always pack a jacket. I always wear one regardless anyways, so that's kind of the I wear a riding jacket, and it's got a removable liner for the summertime, so it's not too bad. And it's pretty heavy, so that way in the fall and spring, if it's cold, I can ride, and be comfortable. And of course wearing gloves, that helps too. But weather's the main thing, but road conditions are a major issue. The roads around me, I'll upload some videos when I start riding, and you will literally see some of the conditions of roads that we have, and they just are not the best of conditions, you know, and unfortunately, you know, it's just too hard to maintain all these roads. So, you know, you give and take. They start working on the main roads, which are nice, but sometimes you want to go down the back roads and, you know, just take a side route or something, you know, get where there isn't much traffic. You know, I mean, it's annoying being bumper to bumper all day, every day. You know, sometimes you like to get out and, you know, pretty much get out there. So that's pretty much the second part. You know, weather conditions, road conditions. Um, those are the two main things. The last section is going to be a little bit more information than the second part. So that's going to continue right away. Alright, so the third section is, like I said, I was a commercial driver. One of the things that they taught us is, you know, I mean, always be prepared for the other drivers. And one thing that I cannot stress enough is you cannot control the other people that are on the road. There are fucking morons out there. There are teenagers texting and driving. What really irks me is when they're smoking a cigarette and they toss their cigarette butts out their window and they get down your jacket. That's no fun. I mean, that just pisses you off. Or, you know, they just like to tailgate. Or they don't know where they're going and they don't use turn signals and they just cut you off. You know, I mean, everything happens and you can't control any of it. You know, you start to get better at knowing what people are going to do before they know how to do it, but you still won't be 100%. So, you know, basically, the thing that I was taught is, you know, keep a follow distance. You know, I mean, don't get too close. You know, even at stoplights, I leave a good car length in front. You know, I mean, I don't get right up on a bumper. I don't get like half a bike's length away. I don't, you know, get 2 seconds away from them. You know, I mean, I'm a full car length. You know, I mean, you never know if that car is going to break down or, you know, if they're in a manual transmission and they don't know how to drive it and all of a sudden they start rolling backwards. You don't know the capabilities of this person. So, I mean, really, it's just smart to keep some distance between you and them because they've got protection, you don't. So, I mean, really, if it comes down to it, keep your distance. And the other main hazard, and this is the major point that I want to bring out, okay? People do not pay attention for motorcycles to save their life, okay? They don't care about a person on a motorcycle. So one thing that I've learned to do is if I'm changing lanes, you signal, you hold in on the clutch, you know, kind of release the throttle a little bit to make your bike rev, get the RPMs a little bit higher, and it makes your bike a little bit louder. And people tend to notice that. You know, I mean, it's not an annoyance thing. It's just, you know, a couple of flares of the throttle, and then you do your lane switch. It's actually saved me a couple times because people start to pay attention when they hear a bike. If they see one, they're just like, oh, well, he's okay. He can get around me, or, you know, he's not gonna, you know, he's not that close. You know, there's time for me to get over. So, you know, I mean, that's the main thing. Cars pulling out of driveways is another hazard. They do not look when they're backing out. They think, oh, well, I'm just pulling out of my driveway. I'm okay. This road is never busy. You know, I mean, that's common misconception, and that's something that really, really annoys me as well because I live on a road where, you know, we don't get a lot of traffic, but, you know, I mean, still, you got to look both ways before you pull out. I mean, I even do it in my car, and, you know, I mean, the people on my block don't. So I've come across people that have just backed out and it's just like you got to put on your brakes and it's no fun, you know, having to put on your brakes at the last second because you don't expect a car to pull out. So that's another major point. But the main focus of this is also cars that are parked on the side of the road. Technically, by, you know, if you remember from driver's ed, they said hit your turn signal and then start to pull out. You know, don't just pull away from the curb. You're supposed to use your turn signal to get off the curb. No one does that this day and age. You know, I mean, nobody uses their turn signals to pull away from the curb. You know, I mean, they just up and go. So, and, you know, I mean, you never know if a car is going to pull away from the curb. So there's something that, you know, there's a helpful tip that I can give you, and it's actually called scanning the steering wheel. Okay. And basically, it's saying that you're looking inside the car as you're approaching it to see if you see any movement. And if you see hands on a steering wheel, you should automatically assume that they could take a chance of pulling out. So, I mean, you want to be prepared for that. And if they do, I mean, if you see the hands on the steering wheel, just be cautious, because you don't know if their car is on or off, especially if you can't see any exhaust or anything like that, or you don't hear it. It's completely possible. I mean, helmets do block a lot of outside noise, so I mean, that's the main thing. So I mean, always look to make sure that, if you see any movement in the car, take a chance that they may or may not be parking or taking off from the curb. You don't know when they got there. They could have just parked there. You don't know. They could have just stopped to be on the phone for a split second, and then, going and pretty much saying, oh, okay, well, I know where I'm going now, and then they're going to stop and go, find the address that they were looking for. So that's the main thing right there. That's the 3 points of how to maintain your visibility. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is something that could easily save so much stress on you guys. And again, if you like my videos, like, comment, subscribe below. And I will be sure to do more of these, especially when the riding season comes about. So please, 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 please take this into consideration. I do not want any of you getting hurt. That would be absolutely awful. So this is not only for my safety that I follow every day, but I also want you guys to be safe when you're out, because everybody wants to have fun, but it's so dangerous to begin with that this is just a helpful thing. So again, thank you for watching this, and more to come.